Pawns in Dragon's Dogma 2 can be 4 different inclinations, each one with its own personality and preferences when it comes to gameplay style. Whether it's your first hour or 100th hour, you might be wondering how this will overall affect your gameplay with your companions. Well, we'll be discussing just that by breaking down all 4, talking about specializations, then showing how they respond in the game with the same vocation but different inclinations. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge of my video so you can decide if it's the right one for you. So with that being said, it just doesn't truly matter. Your pawns will use the skills that they have to the best of their ability. The biggest things Inclination will do is change their voice and mannerisms, but a mage with straightforward and a mage with calm, both with the same skills, will act roughly the same. Now that can be different when it comes to maybe melee classes. The more aggressive ones will favor jumping onto things, while the others will want to hang back. Or maybe they'll want to taunt things, while other ones will just want to outright do damage. So that's when you're going to see the biggest difference. But again, if they don't have skills that favor that playstyle, they won't necessarily use them. An example would be an archer. If the archer doesn't have, say, erupting shot that allows you to stab it into enemies, then the archer will always try to clear itself from the enemy and do the damage to the best of its ability. Or if you're playing a fighter and you don't have the shield summon capability, then there's no way for the character to taunt. So it won't matter if it's calm or if it's straightforward or whatever inclination, it's just going to use whatever skills it's got. But that's the entire gist of the video. I showed this off at the very end if you want to just simply navigate using the chapters in the timeline in the description. So if that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to shut the video down. Before you head out, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe if this video helped you, as that has a huge impact on my channel. And if you've not yet picked up Dragon's Dogma 2 for the PC, you can use my link to my Capcom affiliated Nexus Store. I get like a 20% commission and you get a key directly from the developer, which goes a long way towards supplying my mini Aussies vicious treat addiction. You can also find my playlist and my pawn code in the comment and description below. Let's get started here on the best inclination for your pawn in Dragon's Dogma 2. So loading into the game, let's take a look at our pawn. And if we take a look in the status section, we can see the bottom says inclination straightforward. Now you maybe are creating your character right now and you're going between calm, kind-hearted, simple, or straightforward. Now each one of these is kind of like a bit of an AI profile, kind of, maybe a little bit. And it also is going to dictate how the pawn sounds. So straightforward is going to be kind of somewhat braggadocious. Because I have a straightforward pawn, I'm constantly wondering if he's got Dragon Plague. It's annoying as hell. But this straightforward pawn, you can see right here, it says candid. Candid, flippant, and impulsive. Favors a bold offense and tackling fierce foes. So I'm going to cancel this out and go back here. I'm in the middle of the rift stone, right? Or in the rift. And we can see all these pawns around us. I've swapped them out. And if I kind of swipe this over to type, race, and inclination, I can see what kind of pawns are around. Kindhearted, calm, another kindhearted, straightforward, calm, kindhearted, calm, simple. So all those things, you can come back over here to the Riftstone and we can go search for pawns, advanced pawn search, come down to inclination, and we can see all 4 of our inclinations. And we get a good summary of each one. Kind-hearted, dutiful, loyal, and devoted. Prioritizes support and is quick to aid allies. So if you have anyone who is a mage, this is a really good one to go for because they will try to support you. And I'm going to talk about how this can also be different when we talk about something else as well. But we also have calm, rational, shrewd, and strategizing. Prioritizes defense to ensure survival. Now, this is really good if you're using a fighter because they'll be more of a tank, but this is really good if they're a ranged character like a sorcerer. Again, a mage fits into this, but also an archer. That's really, really huge here, right? They're really going to benefit from using calm because they will stay at range and they will try to stay alive. Now, straightforward is your melee character. Candid, flippant, and impulsive, like we said earlier, favors a bold offense and tackling fierce foes. So this is really nice for thief. It's really nice for warrior especially. It's also good for fighter because they will still kind of try to tank things, but it makes them more offensive than it does defensive. They're less reserved on their overall attack profile with kindhearted versus straightforward, but they're not going to be as gung-ho to like keep things taunted. They'll just be going ass wild. Now the other one is simple here. Curious, earnest, and adventurous. Enjoys exploring and gathering items. So this one is definitely more of the quote-unquote crafter of the bunch. Simple does focus on saying like, hey, There's items over here. They'll just go and grab those items. They will point out more things in the game to you. So this inclination is better if you just kind of want a pawn, like either your pawn or summoning up a pawn that is going to be doing a lot of pointing things out. Hey, master, there's a quest over here. There's a chest over here. I found something in this direction. There's some resources over here. There's a seeker coin over here. Simple is going to be the one that you want alongside you to point those things out. And to be totally honest, Simple might be one of the ones that I choose the least, but might be really good for a main pawn, because the main pawn goes into other worlds for you, right? And they're always tethered to you. So kind of having that character that always has insight into what's going on in the world is really, really good. Now, I don't think you can search by it. Nope, you can't. Now, outside of the pawn's inclination, you have their specialization. So we've popped back into the Rift to take a look at this. So what I want you to kind of think of, the specialization can exist on its own, and that's no big deal. You know, you can take a Churigan, or you can take a Forager, you can take the one that sells for you. It doesn't matter. You can take the Woodland Adventurer, like my guy's a Woodland Adventurer, so he translates Elvish for me. Logistician. All these things exist, and they can be complemented by their inclination. Logistician complements Calm, because Calm has orderly, organized inventories, and Logistician is all about moving things around your inventory to make it so that it works the best for you. Or Kindhearted works very well with Churigan, because Churigan is all about trying to use curatives and stuff like that to heal you and put them into your inventory so that you can use them. And I can't do it in this screen, but if you press left bumper or whatever that is on PC, you can quickly get to a menu that will choose the curative that fits what you need. So if you are poisoned, if you are low in health, if you are low in stamina, you press left bumper, and it will choose those curatives immediately right there for you, and the Churigan will put them into your bag or use them on you. So that works really well with Kindhearted, who is already trying to heal you naturally as part of their inclination. Now, another one, though, let's see if we have one around here, is Forager. Oh, where are you? Aha. Forager. Now, Forager works really well with Simple, who's already inclined to show you those things, to find items for you, to forage up materials. Let's see what they are. So they're Calm. So that, I mean, it's not going to hurt, but it's like taking an AI profile and kind of making it a little bit sharper, because that's what its inclination is now, or its specialization is now set in towards what its inclination is. So you can kind of think of how to stack these things. You don't really need to worry about it, to be totally honest with you. Even worrying about the inclination can be kind of a bit of a fool's errand, because you're not going to notice that big of a difference. And what you really want to do, though, is try to make it work as best you can. Like, hey, you know what? The order of operations in which I look for a pawn starts with weapon skill. Okay, cool. You know what? These are all the weapon skills I want. What about their inclination? Well, Calm is actually really on point for what I want for an archer. Perfect. I would probably just take this character as is. And then when I go to talk to them, they're like, oh, you know, I'm also a Forager. Like, oh, cool. A nice bonus. I think that the specializations aren't as huge for me in the early portions of the game, because you really only have access to Forager and Churigan. And then as you get further into the game, you'll have Logistician, which actually is very annoying when it comes to turning in quests, because it might just outright use items you needed for a quest. The Woodland Wordsmith becomes really useful for me. And there's the other one there. It's like this one is it.
I'm attentive and loyal.
No, you're not it. Mind.
By your side.
I know of nothing that demands
Let me
immediate
put the
notice.
name of it here for you. Oh, that's right. It's in the screen. Look at this video. That's super not helpful. Hawker. Hawker's the other one, because you can sell to them. So those are some of the specializations I look for in a later game. And if I didn't have it, I kind of move on. But just kind of know that inclinations and specializations can work hand in hand together. So how we're going to test all this and how I'm going to show all this off is I'm going to take two pawns and match them with my pawn. My pawn is straightforward. This is a Calm pawn, so we're going to hire this character and swap out one of my existing ones. And we're going to get... No, not right now.
We'll see each
There we
other
go.
again.
And then, oh, my lady, thou art wearing a corset. We're going to take another character that has Kindhearted. So we're going to have a calm, a straightforward, and a Kindhearted. The simple one is okay, but I think that as far as it comes to kind of showing off the actual combat capabilities and how these inclinations are different, I think these are the ones that are going to matter the most. So we landed up with this character, and we're going to take all of them, and we're going to go jump into the game world, and I'm going to just watch them fight something. And you'll get a sense for how those different inclinations actually approach combat. Just to approach some quick combat here. Oh, God. Get my shield up in the meantime. And let's just quickly recap here, too. Across each one of our pawns, we have Straightforward, my main character. We have Calm on Hacinda, and Akira is Kindhearted. So, as far as being an archer goes, what we talked about inclination-wise, Hacinda should be the best one, as far as just staying defensive, staying back, and shooting with her bow and arrow. Tyr here should be the worst one, because he's going to try to get up close and personal. He's going to try to jump on things. He's going to try to use stuff like explosive arrow right up close and personal, and it's going to be annoying. Whereas Akira should kind of sit in between. She doesn't have a specialization like Chirurgeon, where she's going to try to heal stuff, so we'll see how that all goes. And this is just one. I'm going to just show a bunch of different examples here. Let this kind of do all their little fighting here. These are just some basic bitch enemies, so there's nothing crazy here. But let's go and try and find something big and scary and see how this kind of works. Just more enemies. I'm going to stay defensive the whole time. And if this was, again, something larger, something that you can actually climb on, you'll find that my character, my pawn, will try to grab onto them. Just to kind of see here, you know, Kira's getting some distance. Here is getting chewed up. And to be fair too, he'll do as much damage as he can to try to maximize stuff, which invariably will also kind of draw the most attention to him too. So that's kind of part of being straightforward, whereas the other characters have stayed back almost the entire time. And we have a kill on it, but let's go find something a little bit scarier. Alright, here we are fighting an ogre. Things are getting wild and weird. And we're going to see how all my pawns kind of react. And we're all kind of just doing the same thing, which is great, right? Like, we're all just being archers. And it kind of just depends, too, on where that monster is in relation to them, what they might try to do. Uh-oh. Oh. Like, my guy's just doing big heavenly shots into him, trying to do as much damage as he can. But you can see that's also kind of my point is, even though the inclinations exist, it's more like a voice thing more than anything. They're all archers. They all have different inclinations. They all have different ways of approaching this combat, and they're all, for the most part, doing the same thing. You know, it also depends too. Oh God, I'm trying to narrate over here, dude. It also depends too, like what type of skills they have. Like, take for example, you know, it's really easy for a character that is straightforward to just jump in there and get and use their explosive shots. But if they don't have the explosive shot skill, they just won't do it. All my guy's skills are very ranged, so he's using them pretty damn well. So this is just an example that the inclinations, while they do have set profiles and kind of ways that they approach combat, it's not overly going to matter. They'll pretty much use whatever skills they have to the best of their ability. And when it comes to choosing them, just kind of go off the voice more than anything. Oh, you can see right here. I'll go ahead and end this so I can finish the fight properly, but they've all kind of reacted the same exact way because they're all archers. Now, had I done this with like a mage being straightforward versus a mage that's not straightforward, you'll see that one was going to cast healing spells more often than the other. But conversely, if I had a straightforward mage that only had healing and support spells, they'd only cast the healing and support spells. So It really comes down to the weapon skills more than anything on how your character and pawns are going to respond to damage and how they're going to respond to different things. And that, like, dude, wow, way to cap it off over there, Tier. Love that, man. Like I said, it just kind of depends on those inclinations more than anything. And if you have any observations you've made from your own playthroughs, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. At one point, you know, I kind of thought to myself, maybe Tier isn't the best archer I could have. But as I've played more, I've found out, no, it's just dependent on their skills. You know, if they've got bad skills, doesn't matter what their inclination is going to be. They're just going to be bad at that vocation. If they've got good skills, they're going to choose the good skills and use them properly. So focus on weapon skills before you do anything when it comes to your pawns, and you'll have the most fun in Dragon's Dogma 2. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one, and take care.